Welcome to Villages 365. We're coming to you here from the Villages. I'm Debbie.
I'm Jan.
And today we thought we'd bring you some dislikes about the Villages. And since the guys are out golfing today,
That's right.
we thought we'd be drinking. So we're going to have a cocktail with y'all while we talk about this stuff. Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, so today we're going to do dislikes, and we'll start with me. And I have a little list here, and it was hard to do the dislikes more than the likes, but I have 10 that I'm going to share with you. And the first one is the size of the Villages. When we first moved here, I think there were 35,000 people, and now it's 135,000. And I don't want to be selfish and say, well, you can't move here because everybody loves the Villages, but it does get crowded, and they're just building, and they do a good job, but it's a big city now instead of a nice little town.
Not such a small town.
Yeah.
And a good thing about the way that they're building, though, at least, is they started up north and they're building down south. So there is some sort of separation kind of naturally that's happening.
Yeah.
So we don't feel like we're all clustered in one spot, but there is definitely a difference in the amount of people and such around. So definitely different.
Exactly. And my second dislike is the roundabout chaos. The Villages has quite a few roundabouts, and when I first got here, I will agree they were kind of confusing. I mean, people in Europe use them quite a bit, but when you look at the little sign, it shows you this lane will go around 3 roads. This lane only goes this way and this way. But if you don't know that, you may be in the wrong lane, and then you hear a lot of honking, and there are quite a few accidents in the roundabouts.
Yeah. And they do claim that the reason they did the roundabouts is because it was a lesser impact accident than if somebody blew through a stop sign or a stoplight. So that's the reason that they said they use it. It does nicely keep the traffic flowing.
It does.
But a lot of people don't need to use them, so know how to use them.
And they're very tight, and we were discussing this today. It's probably because you can't go through them 55 or 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Although some people try.
They do, and a lot of them end up right in the middle of the circle there, and they straddle light poles, etc.
Yeah, take out some landscaping.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3 is there seems to be an enormous amount of broken turn signals on both cars and carts. And I'm just really surprised that there's that many broken turn signals. So I don't really know how that happens, but I would think that the body shop or the auto shops would be really busy trying to get those turn signals.
Tons of car dealers down here, easy to get it fixed.
Yeah, and it's a courtesy thing.
Yes.
And I think we forget in a cart that it's a cart and not a car, and you really need to do your turn signals. It's a safety thing.
Although, there's always the opposite side. The people that leave their turn signal on for 10 miles, and you're like, are you turning yet? Are you turning yet?
That is true.
Right?
Yep, that's true.
So just be good to be aware of your surroundings and whether or not your turn signal is on or off and when you're really turning.
That's right. Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Let's see. There's a lot of nice people in the Villages, a lot. And there's also some not so nice people. And that is in every city. So, I mean, that was kind of a stretch for the dislike, but you're going to find that anywhere you go.
That is true. And I think most of the people here are very welcoming and very friendly. But you do have some people that feel like
Entitled.
they're entitled, exactly. And that this is their place, and we've all worked hard so that we could retire and be here. So it's frustrating when you do come across some less than nice people.
Just be courteous.
Yes.
And kind.
Yes. It's not hard.
No.
Especially when you live in paradise. Come on, people.
Yeah. Some days it's hard for me, but I'm trying. Another dislike is, and as I'm drinking a cocktail, is sometimes there's over-serving, overindulgence, and there's a lot of DUIs. But if you consider the size of the Villages It's probably not any different than a city this size, but it seems to be blown out of proportion. The cart DUIs and mostly cart DUIs, which is a little less dangerous than a big vehicle, but kind of still a no-no.
Well, and note to self, there is a news outlet here called Villages News, and they thrive on
They do.
negative news about the villages. So if you don't want your face being broadcast all over the internet
And with a bad picture.
with a very bad picture,
Or the price of your home.
that too. They tell everybody when you bought, how much you paid for it, and what neighborhood you live in. So that's always delightful. So if you'd like to stay out of the news, don't drink and drive.
That's a deterrent for sure.
There's plenty of ways to get around. Have somebody drive you, even in the golf cart. You can still get a DUI, just so you know.
Yes, you can. Another one is the traffic, and we don't like to call them snowbirds. They're seasonal
Seasonal people.
guests or residents. But wow, the traffic gets pretty atrocious in the wintertime, and you just have to plan. And it's not going to take you 15 minutes to get to the golf course or the store. It's going to take you 20, 25 minutes instead. And that's just, and again, that's the same thing in a big city during rush hour. So we're kind of rush hour for 3 months, 3 or 4
We are
months.
kind of, people consider this a resort area. So they are coming here and renting for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And then you have some seasonal people who do have homes here, and then they just come in for the winter to escape the north, which none of us blame them for.
Yeah, and that's why we're here.
Yep, that's why we're all here. The weather.
Exactly. The lines at the restaurants kind of go along with that, to even get in. And happy hour is a big problem of that, but there's quite a few restaurants that have happy day, so it's happy hour all day long. But villagers typically like to start eating their dinner at 4.
Yeah.
So 4:30 is.
But I think in the wintertime, because we used to actually go early to avoid the crowds, because Leo does not like crowds. So we used to go early to avoid the crowds. Now, during the season, it seems that a lot of the people, from the north, do come down, and they still don't mind eating at 6 or 7 at night.
Yeah.
So it just feels like it's an extended period of time that you have to wait longer to get a table. I mean, I don't know. Most of the places, depending on when you go, you can wait up to an hour for a table easily.
Yeah.
So they're hoping, obviously, you'll go have a drink at the bar, or, of course, other people are hoping you'll have a drink at the square. If you are down on the squares, the good side is there's entertainment there live, 5 to 9. So if you do go to a restaurant, you can put your name in and then walk out to the square and listen to some live music and have a cocktail for an hour and kill the time. At least you've got a good way to kill the time.
Exactly. Watching the dancers and line dancers.
That too.
Always entertaining.
Yep, that too.
All right. And another one is a change of happy hour. And let me explain. We have currently three squares, and Spanish Spring was the first one built. And the happy hour was from 5 to 7. And then Spanish Springs came along, Sumter, and then Brownwood, and they only did one happy hour. And I don't know what happened, whether people complained that we live closer to Spanish Springs, so that ours was 2 hours and there was only one, or whatever happened. But one day, all of a sudden, we had one happy hour, and we walk up.
Just for an hour, yep.
Yeah, so
that was it.
I know that sounds a little bit like white wine, but that's how I feel about it.
Well, and speaking of happy hour, it used to be you could get 2 for 1, or you could get a single for half price.
Right.
But it was on everything. So beer, wine, and you could get, I like vodka and tonic. Right now I'm drinking rum and Coke, but whatever. Anyway, so I like my variety. But you could get any of those items as well.
Yes.
Then COVID hit, and then the square shut down. Okay, so we know the whole world changed, yada, yada. But now when they've come back, happy hours only got beer and wine. Somehow COVID must have sucked all the energy out of all of the regular booze.
The mixed drinks, yeah.
And so
there's a shortage.
We don't know. Yeah, that must be what it is. It must be a supply chain issue. But anyway, so we're a little bit, those of us who don't go to the square to drink beer and wine are a little disappointed in the fact that we don't have happy hour still for our spirits.
Yes.
So-
And also, you should not take your own drinks that you to the square. You're supposed to buy from the shacks.
Right.
And
Right.
and I get that. So I'm just, that's just my thing. And I think the last one on my list is the rumors. The rumors of the villages. If you tell anyone you live in the villages, then up comes the STDs.
Yes,
and
you have an
then
STD.
Up comes
Swingers.
swingers, yes. And there's 10 women to one man, which all of these are not true. It's getting to be a bigger city. What was another rumor? There was another rumor that was going out.
Well, there was that guy that did the documentary on the villages. And honestly, if you've watched it, because a lot of people have, and a lot of my friends are like, are you sure you want to go there? And I mean, we've both owned our homes here for a long time. We bought in 2000.
And we bought, our first house was 2006, I think. And then the one we're in now, 2009.
Yeah, but so we've been here for a long time, and we moved down here full time 7 years ago. So yes, we've had our home here. We've had family here. My family's been here since the mid '90s. So we've been around. We've heard all the nasty stuff, and it's just it's kind of frustrating because a gentleman did a documentary and went around and he interviewed people, and I haven't watched it, but from what I
watched it.
understand. And those people didn't even live here, right?
Well, no,
One guy was looking for a sugar mama or something,
Yeah.
and he didn't even live here. He lived in his van or something.
Exactly. He was from California or something. I don't know how he found these people, but it made for a better movie.
viewing.
Yeah.
So don't always believe what you hear on YouTube, but you should believe us because
'cause we tell
we
the
live
truth.
here. We're living the dream. So anyway, hope you come down and see us despite all the dislikes. We're going to share some of our likes.
Sorry.
Oh, thought you had them all.
I forgot one. I skipped one. And this one's kind of the covenant's not being upheld.
Okay.
And they have a covenants here, and they're pretty strict, and I get that because that's why it looks so nice here.
Yes.
And you have a color palette that you can paint your house, and you can't have a trailer in the road. You can have your camper in a couple days, 3 days I think, before to load, 3 days afterwards to unload and clean. And there's just a lot of people that think that covenants don't apply to them. So that is one of my little dislikes.
But the truth is, too, you can tattletale, and that's a sad thing, but they have had the tattletales. And
trolls.
Yes, so there's a lot of drama about that because there are people that, my guess is they're the same people that got stung for something, so then they go around and find everybody with that same violation, and then they report them all. And it is sad that
It is sad.
people can't either just follow the rules or just get along.
Yep.
One of the two.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
Okay. So anyway, listen to us. Don't listen to other people that spread fake rumors. We're the real news. No fake news.
Exactly.
Cheers. Come down and
Cheers.
visit us.
All right. Sorry. I thought I